Hello, my dear students. This is Prarthana here. In a day-to-day life, we hear a number of sounds, right? So some of the sounds are very pleasing to the ear, like that of the sound of the musical instruments, like your flute or the guitar, whereas some other sounds are quite annoying to our ears, which we don't like to hear. Have you ever noticed, or have you ever observed or thought how actually this sound is produced? Okay, today in this chapter we are going to learn about sound and its different properties. What is sound? Sound is nothing but it is a form of energy which produces a sensation of hearing in our ears. And how is the sound produced? Sound is produced by the rapid to and fro motion of the particles, which is called as vibration. Now, in case of the guitar, you might have observed when we pull the string of the guitar, a sound is produced. And moreover, some strings of the guitar are thick, whereas some others are thin. And then if we pull the different strings of the guitar, so it produces different sounds. So why it produces different sounds, we'll come to know about it. Now let's see actually what is vibration. So vibration is nothing but it is when we speak, we emit some kind of energy, and that energy leads to the particles of air lying near us to go and then hit the particles lying next to it. As a result of which, this process continues, and then series of vibrations or waves are produced, which finally goes to the ear of the listener. So we can just test this using a tuning fork. So if we take a tuning fork and then if we hit it with a rubber pad, and then we will if we immerse it in a ball of water which was originally still, we'll find that there is some movement in the water. This implies that some kind of vibration was there in the tuning fork, because of which the sound was produced. Now this is the picture of a pendulum. So a pendulum is produced by suspending a ball with the help of a thread. So if the pendulum is at the point O, which is shown here, then that means it is said to be in the equilibrium position. And then if suppose the tuning fork is brought near it, so we will see that the bob of this ball is called as the bob of the pendulum. This bob of the pendulum will move in the to and fro direction. So the distance covered by the pendulum from O to A, back to B, and then to O, it completes one oscillation. So I repeat, from the point O, it goes to A, then to B, and finally back to O. Then it completes one oscillation. Okay. Now, O is called as the equilibrium position or the mean position, and the point A or the B is called as its extreme position. Now, the maximum displacement or distance moved by the bob of the pendulum from its mean position is called as its amplitude, which is denoted by capital letter A. And the time taken by the bob to complete one oscillation is called as the time period. So one oscillation, as I have already told you, from the point O to A, then back to B, then to A, it completes one oscillation. So the time taken by the bob to complete one oscillation is called as the time period of its oscillation, which is denoted by capital T. And the number of oscillations completed by the pendulum in 1 second is called as the frequency of its oscillation. So what is frequency? So number of oscillations. So how much is one oscillation? I have already told you. So number of oscillations completed by the pendulum in 1 second is called as the frequency of its oscillation. Okay. One more important thing to be said here is the SI unit of frequency is hertz. Hertz, hertz. Okay. Now, how is the sound produced when we talk? So in case of human, we have a voice box or larynx which is situated in the neck region, which helps to produce the sound when we talk. So it has two membranous tissues called as the vocal cord with a narrow slit between them for the passage of air. So the vocal cords are held together by the muscles that control the vibration of the cords. So while we talk, air enters the windpipe, and this air causes the vocal cords to vibrate. And this vibration of the vocal cord produces the sound. Okay. Now, next part is, so sound requires a medium to travel. So sound cannot travel in vacuum. Vacuum means when air is also removed from a particular thing. So it is called, when nothing is there, it is said to be vacuum. So for this, we see the bell jar experiment. So there an electric bell is taken, and a bell jar is taken, airtight bell jar, and to it a vacuum pump is fitted there. When it is connected when the switch of the electricity is put, so the bell starts to ring and we can hear the voice. But slowly, when the air inside the bell jar is taken out by the vacuum pump, slowly we'll see that the sound of the electronic bell has become fainter and fainter, and at last, although it is ringing, but we cannot hear the sound. This proves that sound requires a medium to travel. So, okay, now let's discuss the characteristic of a sound wave. They are the frequency, amplitude, and speed. So in this particular figure, we see some high density regions which are called as compressions, as well as low density regions where the pressure is also low. They are called as rarefactions. So the upper portion of the wave, which is called as the peak, is called as the crest, and the lower part is called and the valley is called the trough of a wave. The distance between two consecutive compressions or two consecutive rarefaction is called the wavelength, which is shown in the figure. So it is denoted by the Greek letter lambda. Okay, and the SI unit of wavelength is meter. Next is frequency. Frequency tells us how frequently an event occurs. So the number of waves that passes, number of complete waves that passes through a particular point in unit time is called as the frequency. We have the third one, which is the time period. Okay, before that, let me tell you the SI unit of frequency is hertz. So I think so I have already told that while discussing about the pendulum. Okay. So now the time taken by two consecutive compressions or rarefactions to cross a fixed point is called as the time period of the wave. So here we see there is a relationship between the frequency and the time period. Frequency, that is nu is equal to 1 by t, that is frequency is equal to 1 by t, where t represents the time period. So frequency is equal to 1 by time period. Okay, so just keep it in mind, this thing, so we can use this relation to solve the different problems. Okay, now a violin and a flute may be both played at the same time in an orchestra, but and both the sound, they travel through the same medium, that is air, and then it reaches the ear. But still, do we hear is the sound of the violin and the flute the same? No. So that is because of another characteristic which is called as the pitch. So how actually it is done? So the brain interprets how the brain interprets the frequency of an emitted sound is called as its pitch. That is, faster the vibration of the source, higher is the frequency and higher is the pitch. So here we can see when we speak softly, so the wave is actually, the amplitude is not too high, amplitude is not too big. But when we speak louder, this wave we can see the difference of the wave. The wave disturbance created in case of the louder sound is more, the amplitude is more here. Generally, generally ladies have a high pitched sound, whereas the gents, they have a low pitched sound. So here is another picture where we can see that low pitch sound has low frequency and high pitch sound has high frequency. Since the frequency is more, that is in a particular time, number of waves that passes through a particular point is more. Number of waves that pass through a particular point is more. That is why this is here it creates a high pitched sound, and there it creates a low pitched sound. So the next part that we have to discuss is speed of sound in different media. Speed of sound in different media. So here from this figure, from this picture, it is clear that the speed of sound varies from different varies in case of solids, liquids, or gases, or even in the different substances. So with this, I end this class. Further part of the chapter sound, including echo, reverberation, structure of the human ear, ultrasound, infrasound, etc. These will be discussed in my next video. Till then, please go through the chapter. Thank you.